Great event today, lots of anticipation around this because of what the Lieutenant Governor is about to announce, and that is, it relates to a lot of the work that's been done here on the peninsula for the last several years. And I'll just sort of start a little bit with first principles. This is a terrific part of the city. It's a real strength of New Bedford. It's a neighborhood that has always had great physical attributes, and what we've tried to do over the years is accentuate them to attract investment, to grow jobs, and to elevate the quality of life. And it's something that we've worked on very closely with the Baker Polito administration, as well as our state delegation, as well as our city council, and it's worked in the last 10-ish years, 9-ish years. Just think about the investments that have happened here, and I'll just rattle them off because it's a relatively small area, the peninsula, but it's done remarkably well. So the city's first public safety center that has been open, the first public safety center, first police and fire station that the city's opened in 60 years is just up the street. We just cut the ribbon on that. 2 new elementary schools, including the Irwin Jacobs Elementary School just up the hill, which won the industry's national award for the best designed elementary school last year in the country. The $50 million investment in SMAST, which was opened up just a few years ago. Things like the Cove Walk and the Harbor Walk, which are near and dear to my heart. And no, I didn't build them for my own personal workouts, but they do serve that purpose. A number of other investments on the beaches so they could look just so. We really want this to be a draw for the city, and it has become that, and it's become a place where investment has followed. Cisco Brewery, I think you've heard something about. That's if you haven't, something to check out. It's really was, I think, fair to say probably the most. One of the most popular new restaurants in the United States this summer. So it's done extraordinarily well. And then the investment here in the Kilburn Mill, and then next door, the big set of housing units that you can see over on Grit Street, which those apartments are going to look so great, it'll belie the name Grit. It will not look gritty at all. It'll look real fancy. And so all of this is happening, and so it really fits with our overall strategy of accentuating the positive and eliminating the negative, just like Muhammad Ali used to say, right? You want to focus on the positive things and build and build and build. And so we've done that with, I think, great success. So, and we couldn't do it without the support of the Baker Polito administration. Let me just say something about the Lieutenant Governor. It's been, so she's made some announcements recently, which I think will have which are bittersweet in many ways, but she's been extraordinary for Greater New Bedford. We've worked through so many issues together, advanced so many projects together because she follows through, she keeps to her commitments, and fundamentally, as the Worcester girl that she styles herself as, she understands what it takes for an older industrial city to stand up on its own, and that's what we're trying to do here. And so it's just been such a fabulous working partnership, and I'm so grateful for your leadership and your commitment. It's meant a tremendous amount to us here. So with all that, I want to, and with the drum roll, I want to call up Lieutenant Governor Karyn Polito, a great friend of the city of New Bedford, with an announcement.
So good morning. It is awesome to be here with all of you. It was really sweet to be out there on that beautiful deck. Just messed up my hair for the day, but it was well worth it. I started off in Dartmouth, where we announced a Massworks grant for expansion of housing at the Dartmouth Housing Authority to support older residents who are living there, and I'm thrilled to be here in New Bedford in this gateway area of the city. And I want to thank Mayor Mitchell and the team over at City Hall, all of you for your incredible work over the past 22 months. These have been incredibly difficult and challenging times for everyone, and I just appreciate the partnership and the ability to work with all of you to keep the residents here safe and healthy. And as we turn into the new year, still with COVID with us, we encourage you to get vaccinated, get boosted, and take the precautions to help yourself and your families have a good, safe holiday and a good start to the year. I also want to thank my colleagues in the legislature, Representative Hendricks and Representative Cabral. I served with Representative Cabral. I'm in your neighborhood, and I just appreciate all the good work that you've done over the course of time. And I know the councilors will also be able to speak this morning. This is an exciting time for the city. You're in a beautiful area of our Commonwealth in the South Coast region, but you've worked extremely hard to position yourself for opportunities. You know, planning and pushing and advocating, you're your biggest champions. And when you do that and you express how much you believe in yourselves, guess what? Other people take notice. So it's not only you investing in yourselves, you're attracting others to invest in your waterfront, to invest in your housing, and yes, the state as a partner to invest in your infrastructure so that you can do more. We are very proud of our partnership. Obviously, South Coast Rail is going to be arriving to this area in 2023 after many years of pushing for that, but that's going to be a reality. And of course, with the incredible opportunities involving clean energy and offshore wind, this area of our state is well positioned to support the workforce and the whole operations and maintenance and support of the development, construction, and forever maintenance of that offshore wind energy that will be first in the nation here off of our shores. And this city is connecting a whaling industry that was your beginning and coming forward to be part of a clean energy offshore wind industry is an incredible story, and all of the work in between you should be incredibly proud of. So should not be a surprise to you that in this year's round of grants for economic development, New Bedford's application did rise to the top, and we're thrilled to be able to announce a Massworks grant of $2.5 million to the city of New Bedford. Congratulations. This is for the infrastructure improvements, as the mayor said, along the Rodney French Boulevard, and will allow for the outdated infrastructure to be updated and increase the amount of residential units here in Mill 2, as well as enhanced commercial and exciting things to do right here in this mill as well. It's a really great story when you think about what these mills were used for, and now you've created a mill village where you have residents, you have all these amenities to enjoy, a beautiful waterfront that is your treasure and your resource, and then to be able to provide it in a way that's really unique for the residents who will be here and unique to your city. I want to just also mention on behalf of the delegation, Senator Montigny did call this morning and offered his congratulations to the city. He's been a longtime advocate as well as the whole delegation for these improvements, and we appreciate his leadership for this area as well. We learn a lot from mayors like Jon Mitchell about how we in the state can better serve you. Yes, we have worked well over the course of the last 7 years, but there's always more work to do and always better ways to do it. While the state has a lot of resources, thanks to the legislative delegation passing an economic development bill that contains the funding for projects like this, we need to make sure that we're making it easy for municipalities to apply. So to the City Hall officials who are the grant writers and the ones tracking all this is a gift for you, because we have what's called a one-stop shop for you to be able to apply to state grants. We put in 10 of our grants into one stop, And we preface that with an expression of interest. So lay out on a one-pager to the state what your highest priorities are for your community, and then apply one time to 10 programs in one application to be able to help your projects move forward. We are in the second round. We just announced it yesterday with the expressions of interest open, and the applications for these now 12 economic development programs will be available to cities like New Bedford beginning this spring. So you can keep building on your success, you can keep that momentum going, and you can keep pushing forward on the initiatives and the programs and the projects in neighborhoods like this and throughout your city. In addition to that, because you have to plan for these things, right? You have so many great ideas for your city, you're reimagining and you have a vision, but you have to plan it out. So you've also earned a $75,000 planning grant for a master plan, so you can continue to plan, and then you're gonna take that plan, apply for further dollars in programs like this, and see your plans become reality.
We'll take that too.
We will, right? And recently, as part of that one-stop shopping, you not only got the Massworks grant, the planning grant, but some of your partners also received grants. The Community Economic Development Center of Southeastern Massachusetts will rehab the former Capitol Theater to house a range of human services, small business incubator space, and workforce development programs. They received a $775,000 grant for that purpose. And the Verdian Veterans Memorial Foundation, thanks to your advocacy, Rep. Cabral and others, received a $285,000 grant to fund accessibility and building code improvements at Memorial Hall. So congratulations. We are at our best as a Commonwealth when we work together. We focus on the work, we get stuff done. That's exactly what we're celebrating here in New Bedford today. You're collaborative, you work together, you focus relentlessly every single day on the work to make this city better and brighter for everyone who lives here and for the future residents and people who will invest in this community. So it's a big, huge congratulations on your success, and it's a sort of a statement that you need to keep it going. These things just don't happen. It takes a force and a leader to keep it going, and a whole team of people to sort of block and tackle to get to the red zone and to get into the goal line, over the goal line. So congratulations to all of you. We'll continue to work with our legislative partners. We've got a lot of federal dollars. So they recently sent to the governor a proposal, and we've signed it into law now to delegate the federal rescue recovery dollars into action. So what we will do with those dollars is pour them right back into the programs like the one we're celebrating today, and that means we get more money into cities like this and communities all across our Commonwealth. We're not only going to recover from this pandemic, we're going to rebound, and we're going to be the best and strongest economy and place for people to want to live, work, and raise their family. I'm very proud of all of you today, and it's with pleasure now that I turn it over to Ashley Stolber, who's the Assistant at Economic Development.
My mask is stuck in my earring, these things. Good morning. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. We are so excited to be back in New Bedford. The last time we were here for a small business tour back in September, where we toured Purchase Streets and William Street and heard from all these small businesses that persevered during the pandemic. Thank you for your work, and I see Jessica here did an excellent job coordinating that tour, so thank you, and we're so happy to be back to now celebrate your success in the community One Stop for Growth. So as Lieutenant Governor mentioned, we love the One Stop. So before, cities like New Bedford would have to go in and apply for all these different grant programs on different timelines, no predictability. They didn't know what they were applying for, and it was very unclear. No more. So now we have a new streamlined process. You come in one time, you know exactly when the applications are due for now 12 programs, yay, and we're all announcing them at the same time. So the feedback we received in this program has been amazing. I don't want to brag, but I will. We received 360 applications in our first round from 177 communities and requested over $300 million in funds. We are now announcing 196 applications across 122 communities, and we're funding a total of $88.7 million. So because of this process, and one thing I do just want to highlight is we were able to take a really holistic view of all of our applications. So we had all of these programs, we had all of the applications, and we sat in front of a map and said, let's be sure that we're treating everybody equally and distributing these funds equitably. And we did just that. 1/3 of the projects were funded in rural and small towns, 1/3 went to gateway cities, and almost half were in a housing choice community. So we are so proud of the One Stop. We're so excited that we're opening it up again, although I'll say I can't believe we're starting this all over again. But it did open yesterday. We've already received 4 municipalities opening up their expressions of interest. New Bedford, no pressure, but you better get going. But we're really excited that it's opening up. So as Lieutenant Governor mentioned, we're not just here to celebrate your Massworks Award that you're doing to transform this area and build this really cool village, but you're also receiving an Urban Agenda Award, and you have 2 organizations that have received underutilized property program grants. The $75,000 grant, you're updating your master plan that was last updated in 2010. What we loved about your application is that you're really using an inclusive and community-driven process to really gear yourself up for the next generation as things are just changing so rapidly. One thing about the underutilized property program that I want to mention, this was super, super competitive. It was our first year ever of doing this program. We got nearly $100 million worth of requests and only had $8 million worth of funding. So you should be really proud of yourselves. The Community Economic Development Center of Southeastern Massachusetts getting their $775,000 grant, and the Verdian Veterans Memorial Foundation with their $285,000 grant. You should be really proud because that was a really competitive process. So we know how important it is for communities to survive. It really takes leadership at the state level, the city level, community volunteers, private investors, and of course, we are so grateful for our partnership that we have with the state delegation in the legislature. I know Senator Montigny could not be here, as Lieutenant Governor said, but I am very happy to introduce Representative Cabral to say a few words.
Well, good morning. I was just chatting a little bit with the Lieutenant Governor. You know, she did serve with me in the legislature, so I was wondering what kind of moment she was having this morning. I think she blamed on the coffee, right?
I had 2 coffees.
Not senior moment, just on coffee, right? Just coffee. No, I'm only kidding. Well, I'm delighted to be here and joining the Lieutenant Governor. As you know, she's been a wonderful partner with us in New Bedford and throughout the Commonwealth, in particular all the communities. And you can see by the amounts of money and the applications that have been submitted to the various state programs, the needs out there are great, sometimes surpassing the availability of the funds that we have to distribute. But we are very, very grateful, and that the Lieutenant Governor knows this area, by the way, very well, as she knows most areas in the region, in the state. She travels quite frequently to the various communities, but she understands our needs extremely well, and she's been a very good advocate for all of us here in New Bedford and the greater New Bedford area and the South Coast overall, I would say. You know, the Massworks is a great program. As it was said before, used to be an alphabet soup of programs that the state used to have. Some time ago, it was decided that to give better opportunities to communities to apply, let's bring all those under one umbrella called so-called Massworks. And this way, communities know exactly where to apply, how to apply, what kind of information they're going to need. Not only municipalities, but also community organizations of various kinds. You know, the $2.5 million for this project is fantastic. The investments in this part of the city, as the mayor enumerated them, have been great. Most of them, for the exception of, I believe, the police station and the fire department, all of them required substantial state investment as well. And that's the partnership that we have developed over the years. And I think the city administration has been really focused. And when you are focused on the needs and the projects in order to develop the city and create jobs, create opportunities, this is what happens when you have somebody who is focused on what needs to be done, and then you have the ability to be competitive and succeed against all the other applications. And we've been very fortunate with that, and the results show for it. The ASMAS building, for example, was a partnership between UMass Dartmouth and the Division of Marine Fisheries, which is housed there now. And that was over a $50 million project, just at the end of the peninsula, right? And the list goes on. But I want to highlight as well the other two awards that the Lieutenant Governor mentioned this morning and was announced earlier. And that's for the Veterans Vets Hall, Memorial Hall, a little bit up the street here. That's a wonderful organization, very proud group of veterans. They out there involved in this community every day. We always look for their, honor guard in all the parades and all the events that we have in this community. We can count on the veteran vets to be there. And they need our support. And I think this pays off when also you have great people in that organization focused in trying to put together all the information. So this round is $285,000 for the Veteran Vets Hall. I just want to remind the Lieutenant Governor there was another pot of money with $350,000 as well earmarked for the Veteran Vets Hall as well. We hope that gets released at some point to continue the rehab they need to do on that building. I remember many years ago, I don't know if any of you remember in the audience, every year the installation of officers at the Veteran Vets used to be a big winter occasion, usually the end of January, beginning of February. They used to have a big event up on their hall, and everybody used to be really dressed up to the hill, right? I can picture those older gentlemen that served us and defended our values. I was always surprised how they could fit still into their uniforms, how in shape they were. But it was the event in New Bedford, by the way, and we hope that comes back in that community and for all of us to enjoy. It was an extraordinary event in the wintertime. We always looked forward to go to the Veteran Vets installation of officers in those days. So, but I want to highlight also the group that is involved in the Veteran Vets Foundation. Eric, I believe, is here, and Eric, along with other folks in that organization, have done tremendous work. They did a lot of work on this application as well for the $285,000. So, when you work hard, you stay focused, it pays off. So, congratulations also to Eric and his team over at the foundation. The CEDC up in the north end, the Avenue, right? We all talk about the Avenue. The Avenue needs tremendous investment. So much work to be done on the Avenue. Used to be the place to cruise, right? At one time. Some people didn't like that, it was kind of annoying sometimes. But it was interesting to see. But that's a great project, by the way, and they're going to need more than the 775, but that's a great step forward for that project to come to fruition. So let me close by again thanking the Lieutenant Governor and her team, and obviously the Governor as well, even though he's not here today, but he's here in spirit, and the entire team, the Economic Development Office. They do wonderful work, and they really understand as well what's going on in these communities. And of course, the City Administration and Mayor Mitchell for staying focused on the projects that we need. And let me also thank the councilors. They are involved and they are part of this partnership. Councilor Lopes here in the south end and Councilor Markey in the other end of the city, the north end. So, but before, I want to also bring my other partner in the legislature. He's fairly new, but I think he's been fantastic to work with, I can tell you that. It's been a pleasure of mine working with Chris I think he quickly stepped up to the plate and really got involved, and it's become a partnership for both of us in the city, because we are really, out of all the other reps, we happen to live in the city as well, and we care deeply about the city. So for a few words, Chris?
Thank you for those kind words, Representative. Just kidding. Thank you, Rep. Cabral, and obviously thank you, everybody, and thank you to the Lieutenant Governor, Massworks, and her administration for all the attention that's being paid for things that are going on down here. There's a lot going on, whether it be the rail, offshore wind, projects like this. You know, these things are important because the more infrastructure we have in the city for things like that, the more people are going to be here, and these things are very necessary. So I'm very delighted to be here today. But I also want to thank the administration for all the work they did over the last couple of years with COVID. So whenever we needed testing, whenever we needed overflow sites, whenever we needed vaccinations, boosters, whenever we needed anything, we could always reach out to them and they'd get it done. So I want to thank you for the work that the administration has done during the COVID situation. It really has been great, the work that you've been doing. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone being here. I see Jamie out there in the crowd. Thank you for all the work you do for the city. And thank you, Representative Cabral, for being such a great colleague. I've learned a lot from you over the last few years, so I appreciate that. So everyone have a good day, and have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Chris, for that. No more jokes about Tony's anonymity. Sorry. So let me just say a few things just for context. So I want to thank a number of folks in city government, the DPI team under the leadership of Jamie Pont, of course, Sean, Lisa from CDM, Stephanie Manny, who's got almost 2 feet into retirement now, so this is his swan song. Guys, great job, as always. Derek Santos and Jessica and the EDC team, well done. Nice job as always, guys, tying it all together. Jen Carloni and Laurel and the team in city planning, nice job. And that $75,000 grant is going to be on for the master plan is going to be on Jen's plate, which is already full, so her blood pressure is going up right now, but she's happy about it. A couple of other things. Of course, the City Council, Brad Markey and Joe, of course, the City Council President. I'm going to call Joe up in a second. I just really want to thank you guys for your support. Celine Sareva, the head of both neighborhoods associations in this part of the city, Clark's Point, as well as Rue Street, or Cove Street, excuse me. Still, it's been a while since I've been to a meeting, but thank you. And I want to thank, of course, the delegation, Tony and Chris Markey, who's in the back of the room, former state rep John Quinn, I want to acknowledge as well. I want to say a word about the project, and then I want to call Joe Lopes up. So, just for context, we've been talking about this road project and a lot of the stuff going on the peninsula. Here's the importance of this thing, right? So it ties together a lot of the work that has been done right around here that has already incited private investment from the likes of Jason and Jillian at DOCO downstairs, so make sure you make a stop on your way to those guys and all the great things that they do. It ties a lot together here, but it's also a crucial link in what is the most traveled corridor in the city. So we have spent a great deal of time, as I mentioned, on the peninsula, making it look just so. We have also made taken a considerable amount of effort to make the corridor from 195 all the way down to Cove Street look just so over the last several years. Last night, some of you were at that very animated charter school meeting right next door. I got a text from somebody who came down from Boston to see that, and she said, not having been here in a number of years, said, your city looks so beautiful at night. What she was talking about was that stretch from from right about there all the way to 195. And that's, in many ways, what the city presents to people who haven't been here. Think about all those people who went to Cisco this summer. Think about all the people who go to downtown, right? We need to make it look great. The missing link is right here, from Cove Street right down to the barrier gate. And that's what this grant's for. It's going to look fabulous, right? The roadway will be completely redone. The underground infrastructure will be completely redone. There'll be a great streetscape with trees. That intersection, a huge intersection of Brock Ave and West Rodney French and Cove Road will be really done. And we spend time on this stuff because the built environment and cities matter. The way it looks, I mean, sometimes I hear the criticism about the mayor caring too much about flowers. Honestly, the way we look matters because it says to people who come here, this is a place that cares about itself. It says to our residents that this place is worthy of our care, and that's why we do it. And this really will link up. This is just a crucial link right now, and that's where the importance of this grant is. So I just wanted to put that into some context. A big part of what's been happening right here is this man, Joe Lopes, the outgoing city council president. You have the last meeting you will preside over is tonight. I really want to thank Joe for his partnership over my time in office. His time in office goes back 12 years now, and he's just done a tremendous job for the peninsula, for all of Ward 6, and this is in some ways a project and an occasion for him to take a bow, but I want to tell him that just how much I appreciate the partnership in facilitating the work here. It's been really important. It's made a big impact, and it'll outlast all of our times in office. So Joe, thank you.
So I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor, the Mayor, the state reps. I'll tell you, when we got the money for Route 18 Phase 2, it stopped at Cove Street. And I remember Christina Connolly in the Mayor's office, the former city planner and the Mayor and I having a discussion where there's so much more that needs to get done. And Manny, I kept on asking you, how do we make it work? And lo and behold, we found a way to make it work. The Governor was on the Hurricane Dike when this was a vacant mill. And the process was going on where it was being sold, and the Governor said, when we were doing the Hurricane Dike, that he knew New Bedford, and he did. You know New Bedford. We saw you during the summer at Cisco. It'll be a sad day when the Governor, Lieutenant Governor leave because they have not forgotten New Bedford. You might be a Worcester girl, but you understand what a gateway city is. You understand the true meaning of the program, and so does the Governor. So for the residents of the South End, I thank you all for not forgetting. Our state delegation has done tremendous work as well. But Jamie, DPI, and Manny, and the Mayor and City Planning Office, this was, how do we finish off what we started with Route 18 Phase 2? Your work in economic development has given us the tools to do that. DOCO is going to be a prime example of how this is going to help them. The housing next door that's been in the works, all of this transforms a neighborhood. And sometimes the ROI is not just a numerical ROI. As the Mayor said, I've seen them running on the Hurricane Dike. I run on the Hurricane Dike, families on the Hurricane Dike. It's a personal, holistic ROI that sometimes we don't take in consideration. It's always great to see the dollars and cents, but when you see families walking their kids, walking their dogs, teaching their kid how to ride a bike on the Hurricane Dike, that goes past sometimes the return on what the actual cost of the project is. And that's what this is going to do. It makes the community more united, and that's not always a dollar and cents, but we thank you for all that you're doing. On behalf of the City Council, Brad and everybody else, thank you for not forgetting New Bedford, and we know you're going to have a busy next couple of years while you're still in office, so we look forward to working with you and everyone in your team. Thank you.
So I want to thank John Ruggieri and Jacinta Murray for their hosting us today. They managed and owned the mill complex here. And again, I want to thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for the support. Ashley, thank you as well. Great job getting the one-stop off the ground. And I think that's more or less it before we hit DOCO. Take picture time, right? Yeah. All right.